Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Dallas Fort Worth International Airport. American Airlines Flight 1275 with service to Atlanta. This has become our standard test here in the last couple days. We're in Flight Simulator version 1.4.13. This is the latest sim update to beta. I have also updated my driver today to 576.02. And there are a trove of updates with this driver. A lot of drivers just have a couple notes here and there, but there's a bunch of stuff going on with this driver, including some general stability fixes, quite a few general stability fixes, crash fixes. So I think this is probably a pretty important driver to update to. I have cleared my caches. You can see on the right hand side of the screen I've got my my frame rate counter going for you folks, so you can see what's going on in the sim. And I also have auto FPS running on the upper left hand corner of the screen. We're in the Fenix A321 today. We're gonna be flying over to Atlanta from Dallas, fourth busiest airport in the world to the busiest airport in the world, and we're gonna be doing it with live traffic. We are not on VATSIM today. So I'm going to get the airplane ready for departure, and once we're about ready to go, we'll be back and we'll do the departure together. Alright, we are heading out to the runway here. You can see the LODs are turned down pretty low by auto FPS, and we're in Dallas, right, with live traffic, very complicated airport, lots of traffic. You know, so I'm not terribly surprised by that at all. Also not known to be the most optimized of the Asobo airports, so I'm perfectly happy with what we're getting. Gonna be interested to see what we get on departure. One thing to keep in mind is that I did clear all my shader caches, so that's getting rebuilt as we speak, and I've been in the plane for maybe 15 minutes, so I'm not gonna be terribly surprised if I get some departure, issues. We'll see. Performance issues on departure, we'll see. But I'll be about ready to go here in a minute, and we'll be right back with you for the departure. Alright, we're lined up and ready to go. We'll get moving here. We'll bring the engines up to 50% N1. Alright, engines are stabilized. And we've got max continuous power here. Airspeed is alive. 80 knots. Performance looking pretty good. Wind is right down the runway, which is making me look good right now. A long takeoff roll in this airplane, it really is sometimes. There's V1, and we'll ease back on it here. Positive rate of climb, gears coming up. So we're getting up there against my limit here on VRAM, but we're still holding it all right. Alright, we'll go flaps 1. But we're doing well. TLOD now at 270 and climbing. As we climb, the VRAM is getting kind of up against my limit, but that's fine, just as long as it doesn't exceed it. I haven't had any performance issues. Go flaps up. Haven't had any performance issues so far in the departure. There's a little bit of a shake there in the head turn, but again, I just cleared my shader caches, so I'm not terribly worried about that. Everything looking very smooth here on the departure. So, just coming over downtown Dallas right now. So really nice departure. There's Love Field over there, where John F. Kennedy flew into on November 22nd, 1963. Alright, here we are in cruise, everything looking good. You can see auto FPS doing its thing. My TLOD's up over 400, everything looking really pretty outside the airplane. GPU memory is up towards the limit, 10.29, 10.3, 10.4, it's over it right now. But again, that's all good by me. I mean, I've got, you know, I'm able to move around, look around, it's smooth. You know, auto FPS is just doing its thing. I think having the frame rate set at 50% of my monitor refresh rate is helping. Now I want to use all the VRAM that I have. That's kind of the goal here. Top of descent at 1817, so I've got about 35 minutes or so until we hit top of descent. Alright folks, welcome back. We're just on the descent down into Atlanta. We just passed top of descent. We've got some traffic out ahead of us here, but everything's running really smoothly. One of the things that I'm going to have to repeat this here in a moment as we're doing the approach, I forgot to reset my preset, my DLSS preset to K, and so I'm getting pretty horrible ghosting in the sim. I mean, doesn't look too bad right there. I guess it's getting worse now that I've just caught the glide path. Like moving through this menu here, you can see the ghosting is pretty bad. I mean, there's a chance that there's some worse ghosting in this driver than there was in the previous one, but my guess is it's pretty unlikely, and that the situation is probably mostly related to the DLSS preset. Real quick, real flying story here. So you can see got traffic, looks like right behind us, 200 feet above, right? And you figure you're gonna look and see it right there. Look how far back it is. Probably about 2.5 miles, 3 miles in trail. When you'd be surprised, I get traffic alerts on my GTN 750 in my Piper Cherokee all the time, and the dot can look like it's right there, and you look and it's if you find it, which is most times you won't, it's quite a ways off. Let's take a quick look at the approach here while we've got time. It's an RNAV approach, so we do not have to tune any radios. Final approach course 095, glide slope intercept is Shell at 2900. It's 1885 above the ground. LPV decision altitude is 1215 feet. Airport elevation 1026. Touchdown zone elevation is 1015. Call it 1000 for government work. Minimum sector altitude is 3100 feet, so I can assume and do find 2100 foot essentially obstacles around here. That's what that 30, this gives you 1000 feet above that. Missed approach, climb to 1500, then climbing left turn to 3500, direct Troyes and hold. That's going to be a teardrop entry outbound minus 30 degrees, so 005 minus 30 is going to give us what, 335 for 4 nautical miles for the hold entry at teardrop, and then we'll make a standard rate turnaround to 185 inbound. We're landing runway 08 left here. We've got Larry as our initial approach fix at 5,000 inbound at Jadge. We go down to 4,000 Bizarre, come down to 2,900, and then we are inbound from there. Final approach speed is going to be about 140 to 750 feet a minute. Happy on the left hand side, we got the runway, we got the rabbit and the blinking lights here. 1500, climb straight ahead, left turn, direct Troyes for the mist. LPV minimums are 1215, that's 200 feet. Runway visual range of 1800, and this right here is why you want Jepp charts instead of government charts. This is if your touchdown zone and center line lighting is out, your runway visual range moves up to 2400 feet. If the approach light system is out, you come up to 4,000 feet on runway visual range for the approach. The reason it's important with the charts is that if you do not have Jepp charts, then you get you have to go look that number up somewhere. I don't really feel like doing that when I'm trying to fly. 3018 is what this is supposed to be. Oops. And one might genuinely wonder why we are descending below. Supposed to be at 5,000 at Larry. It should. I mean, it should hit the restriction, should it not? But it is clearly not. Alright, well, I guess we're gonna come down to 2,900 feet. It shouldn't do that. I have it set for 29 because that's what glide slope intercept is. But glide slope intercept is about 15 miles from now. Literally. Like, there's Larry, 5,000. And that is correct in... There's Larry, it should be at 6681. But there's the restriction, Judge at 5,000. There's Bizarre at 4,000 and Shell at 2,900. I don't know why it blew through the restriction, but it did. You can, I mean, you see the TLOD, right? You see it says 45 right there, and you think, oh, geez, that's horrible. I mean, it doesn't look too bad to me. You know? And I'll take the... I'll take the limitation for the performance. I really will. You know, super smooth flight so far. I contemplated doing this flight without auto FPS, but the more I fly, the more I realize there's no reason to do anything without auto FPS. So what we in small planes we call it dive and drive. You get down to 5,000, then you pass Judge and you drop right down to 4,000, then you pass Bizarre and drop right down to 2,900. Call it dive and drive. Half mile from Shell, I'll go gear down and flaps 3. There's a half mile, we'll go gear down, flaps 3. Do it a half mile, and then you'll catch the glide slope perfectly. Nose it over, we'll make our way down here. Alright, gear down 3, green, auto brakes are set, flaps are 3, speed brakes are armed. Once we get 3 miles, see, I'd be getting nervous in a Boeing at this point. I mean, the speed's actually good right here, but for whatever reason, I just always I feel like I can get slowed down quite a bit easier in the Airbus and the Boeing. Not quite sure why. Nice approach here coming down into hot Atlanta today. And I'm gonna go flaps full here at, got a little bit about 10 knot wind right off the side there. Autopilot's off, that's my airplane.
1,000.
Stabilized. To an extent. This isn't the Boeing, you don't want to yank the controls all over the place in this plane. It's gonna be a lot smoother on the controls. I have to say I don't mind these airplanes, I really don't. The Boeings, or the Airbuses, that is.
100 above.
Okay.
minimum.
Continue.
100.
Guy going kamikaze over the field there.
100.
Yeah, well, we already did that.
30. 20. Retard. 5.
See, no. Don't you do this to me. See, I tried to pitch up to about 5 degrees, and she wanted to go flying again. Not what I was looking for. Not the greatest landing in the world. But then again, I'm not an Airbus pilot, so there you go. So TLOD, you can see it walks down as we get in here into the field, and 26 on the TLOD right now. But again, we're in Atlanta, and we've got live traffic, so I'm not too displeased with all this. Not too displeased. Wasn't really pleased with my landing, but that's a different story. Alright, so we're taxiing in here. We're clear of both runways. Just wanted to give you a look with the traffic and everything. You know, the whole point of this is to see kind of how it operates, and or how smoothly it works in large airport environments. And I have to say, so far so good. I mean, VRAM, I've got a gig of clearance right now. Frame rates are at 30, but 60. Spirit heading out of town. Take the tail off this 787 right now. So we're gonna come right on over here and just find ourselves a place to park. But you know, performance is good. I'm purposely kind of wiggling my head around here. But performance has been, you know, I'd say pretty good throughout. My performance is a different question, but that's alright. Yeah, the traffic, the TCAS warning went off while I was getting to, I was getting right into the flare there. And that drowned out the 50 and the 40, so I didn't really have an idea of how fast I was descending onto the ground. And then I heard the 30, started pulling the power back, and by the time I did that, it sort of went a little left on me. In other words, just got a little out of sorts, but that's alright. Take a look outside here. Doing quite nicely. It was a terrible parking job, but the jetway was parked kind of weird. But we're here in Atlanta. I mean, I think the flight went really well. The driver is good. I just need to give it a shot with the updated preset. You know, but performance-wise, I'm very, very happy. And that's about the story from here. I hope you guys are doing well, and we'll talk soon.